First of all, I would like to say that I have nothing to talk about with the people that say reviews are subjective. Because if you generally think that, then why are you watching reviews? Why do you even comment if you think that reviews are subjective? No, reviews are there to make sure that they save people time and money. I don't have a lot of money. I don't know how your life is like. I don't have a lot of money. So when I do go watch a movie, I usually have 3 or 4 movies to choose from. And I want to make sure that I choose the one that's more likely for me to find it entertaining. And time is also money. So if I choose to sit down with my wife and watch some streaming services, I want to make sure that I watch something that's worthwhile. So yeah, this is what reviews are for. Now, they're not right all the time. You know, I'm willing to say that like 10 or 20% difference should exist between the reviewer and myself. But when you see something atrocious as this, when you see like 2%, 2% is a picture of a trash can. 2% is something so disgusting that no person would want to hang over their bedroom wall. I mean, this should be objective, right? 91% is the opposite. 91% should be something that's so beautiful to behold that even if you don't necessarily like it, you can at least appreciate the work that was put in it. It's a masterpiece. Even if you don't like the Mona Lisa, you can still appreciate that with the technology at the time, creating something like that requires a lot of talent. And yet here you have these major differences between the reviewers and the audience. And it's also very interesting because this website puts the reviewer and the audience on the same level. I mean, 6 twats have their opinion worth the same, on par with over 1,000 people who watch something. So how does it get to this? You know, because you gotta wonder, who are these 6 twats? Well, these are just people like these other people, all right? They're not better humans or anything. They're not even more educated, like they don't go to an art school to learn how to criticize art. No, these are just some twats that happen to work at multi-billion-dollar corporations. They happen to work at the New York Times, they happen to work at the Guardian, they happen to work at these publications, and their opinion is now on equal standing, if not more so, than the audience. And usually these websites, they do a lot of work in order to crack down on the audience score. Because you get multi-billion-dollar corporations like Disney, probably exchanging favor with the websites in order, hey, can we lower the audience score a little bit? Can you? They did this for Captain Marvel. They did this for Star Wars. I mean, it's already covered by other YouTube channels. But anyway, right, so how do you get into this? Now, I can tell you the history when it comes to gaming, and I assume it's similar to when it comes to movies and TV shows. So I'm going to focus on gaming mostly because in video games you also get this shit quite a lot. And I think it's the monster that the gaming companies created. Hear me out. A couple of years ago, probably a decade or a decade and a half ago, you had the gaming companies which noticed that they can use the gaming press to their advantage. So what they did is they selected a couple of gaming publications, almost all of them from California now, and they realized that, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to give you our game 2 weeks before anyone else has it, and you can make a review. Now, for a gaming publication like Otaku, Polygon, or whatever, this is huge. I mean, if you manage to put a review out on the market before anyone else, you're going to get a lot of clicks, you're going to get a lot of coverage. So, obviously, the gaming websites love this. Now, what they noticed is that if you give a positive review, then you have the developer contact you again the next time they make a game, and they're going to offer the same deal. But if you give a negative review, then they don't contact you again. And now your competition is making money and you're not. So the message is a little bit clear. You kind of understand what's going on. Give positive reviews to these gaming companies that are AAA and they got a lot of money, and you will keep getting their games before everyone else. Give a negative review and bad things happen. And of course, that's not just the only thing that they did. Like, for example, they would do, let's say, a company from France is creating a new game, and they might call a journalist from the United States that works at Polygon, and they'll say, hey, come over to France, we're going to pay for your hotel, we're going to wine and dine you, maybe we're going to throw in some hookers on the top of it, and you can see the game, and give some preview, just talk about the game in an article. So you have like these exchanging favors. And this created a couple of companies that dominated the market because they had an unfair advantage. They were the only companies that were capable of talking about things before the product was out. And now that these companies have a lot of power, they realize that they can gatekeep. So if you're a game developer, you know the gaming outlets that have more pull, that have more influence, and you know that if you want to make a game, you should actually please these companies because they now have an ideology. And if you please the companies, they're going to give you good ratings. So even if your game is bad, as long as you please these companies, they're going to give you good ratings. And if your game is good, but it has the bad ideology, these companies are going to give you bad ratings. So that's the monster that they created. And you notice that certain investors, they look at the review on Metacritic for these games, and they will say, all right, if your review gets more than 8.5, you're going to get a bonus developer. If your review gets less than, 7, then we're canning your entire team. So the developers are more interested in pleasing the reviewer than they are interested in pleasing the audience, because the developer will get money based on what the reviewer is saying than what the audience says. Once the game is made, once the reviews are in, the developer gets paid no matter what. And I think that's pretty much why you get to see this interesting discrepancy, right? Because you have some companies that manage to get on top, not because they put on good work or anything like that, but because they worked hand in hand with the corporations. And these companies are also now ideologically possessed. So they judge games based on ideological reasons, not based on how good the game is. Meanwhile, the audience, they spend money on the product. They don't get it for free like the corporations do. They have to spend money on the product, so the entertainment value is more important for them. And you have the discrepancy between ideology versus entertainment. So when you look at, I guess, reviews, you should be like, okay, so ideological from the point of social justice, I guess, this is a 91%, but entertainment-wise, it's 2%. Ideological from Dave Chappelle, it's 33%, because at least, he's still a black man, even though he's suffering from white supremacy, as the media tells us. But entertainment-wise, it's 97%. So this is how you read reviews from now on. Ideological and entertainment. There you go. I cracked the code. I cracked the Da Vinci Code. Yeah, and by the way, the ideology that they're using is to attack their competitors. Because you get eventually like some YouTubers or some bloggers like The Quartering or, people that kind of resonate with the audience more. And then you're going to see someone from the establishment going, it's like, oh, these misogynists, oh, they're evil people. They need to be canceled. Why do these platforms allow them to spread hate? That's why they use the ideology, to crack down on their competition. And alternatively, you also get the idea of review bombing. Like, did you notice that? Review bombing is when the audience doesn't like it. So, for example, if you have, in this particular case, like the Dave Chappelle, you get like really bad reviews from the critics because they're literally review bombing it. That's what they're doing. They don't like the ideology, so they're review bombing it. You're not going to notice the review bombing being used against the critics. No, it's usually against the plebs, against the audience. They're the only ones that can review bomb. But and it's also the same. Like if you have an actor, like let's say a Hollywood actor that does something, Johnny Depp, right? Being accused of domestic violence. Oh, then everyone gets to cancel him. So not watching a Johnny Depp movie because of Johnny Depp, that's perfectly okay. Netflix can take down his movies. That's fine. Okay, but if you criticize, let's say, another actress, like let's say you don't like Brie Larson because of her activism, and she says negative things about men, and you're a man and you don't want to support her movie, you're not allowed to do that. See, you need to actually watch the movie and judge it based on its merit, not based on the actress and what her activism is. So that's the double standard. That's why they use ideology. Again, it's to crack down on the audience, which is people like you, which are the peasants. Let me know what you guys think. I'll go to see what my cat wants, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.